Hello, everybody, and welcome into Wednesday night, March 27th, 2024. I verified I have audio. I just did that with my monitoring stream. We do have audio. It is the Ken Stott Live show with the Zoom homies with Ken Stott Live. We have Rich, we have a missing Bill Dawson, Craig Guy, Darren, Sam, Jeff, Sin, and Chris Garrett with us. I'll go ahead and unmute OBS, and you guys should be able to be heard over YouTube now.
I see the back of Williams' TV or something.
Yep. That's what it looks like. That's exactly what it looks like. Tony Wallow was first tonight in chat. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit, and I'll circle back. I'm going to come to this one here first. Let me lower my zoom down a little bit. Here we go. Let's see if this shows up the whole thing. There we go. Chris Garrett, Bam-a-lam, oh, Black Betty, I believe is the exact words. Bam-a-lam, Black Betty had a child. Bam-a-lam, damn thing went wild, wasn't mine, or something like that. Good tune back in 1977, which I sort of think it was 1975. But anyway, Rick Lakes with a $2 contribution to the channel. Thank you, Rick. That's a great way for me to segue into tonight's basic topic that I have on my mind and the explanation of the icon of the unhappy face with the thumbs down. When I went to bed last night, I was sitting over $102.80. I think it was $102.89 or 84, something like that. I was pretty happy. When I woke up this morning, I go to check my analytics. My analytics tell me I'm currently sitting at, some of you already know this, some of you do not know this. According to analytics, as of right now, I'm sitting at $89.20. Where, why, what happened? Where did it go? No explanation.
There's your answer right there. Just logged in.
I got to hear Greg's first. What was yours, Greg?
The hackers got you.
Something got me. I don't know. Now, I did a little bit of research, and it appears as if though YouTube actually charges the creator a $10 verification charge. Okay, that would knock it down to $92. And then a $10 payment method charge as well. That would knock it to $82, which is really weird because that's a little bit lower than the $89 I currently have.
Is the verification charge a one-time thing when you set up your channel?
Probably. I would hope so, because if that's the case, I mean, if that's the case, they're not being extremely transparent about it. They say your threshold's $100. Once you get to $100, then you get paid roughly a month later. Okay, I was a couple dollars over that, so I'm anticipating the next step of, okay, we need your banking information, yada, yada, yada.
Well, you're still in your first month, though, right?
I'm actually, yes, technically I'm still in the first 28-day period, even though I started it in February. And anything so let's just say I don't make it this month, it'll roll over till next month.
So it's not a calendar month then?
It's not so it's a 28-day undefined period by YouTube.
It's
of course it is.
It's very strange. And Stealth Mode's saying I can use PayPal. Yeah, I probably will use PayPal if and when I get to that point. And again, I mean, maybe it's legitimate.
Well, you remember, you've got a little PayPal built up already.
Oh yeah, I do. And I'm grateful for the contributions to PayPal. Thank you, the people that have contributed to the channel through PayPal. It's just frustrating that I'm kind of getting a calendar out here and marking the days, and I know they pay between the 21st and 26th. So let's just say the pay period ended today and I'm miraculous to get back to over $100. Then I will not get paid until the 21st or through the 21st through the 26th of April. That's pretty much in writing on YouTube standards. And I don't
Well,
know if that's
by
it.
that time you might have another 100, so you may get $200 at that.
Well, you would think that, but then if once that threshold's made, it goes forward to the next month of May. So,
Well, no, but I mean, there's not a limit on just paying you $100 a month, is there?
no, the threshold or the limit is you have to hit that. You could, not going to happen, but I could hit $1,000 on, and I'm going to get paid $1,000. But the minimum is $100. That's what they use as the threshold.
Okay, but if you'll hit the threshold sometime early in the second month, though, right?
I should, yeah. Well, I I actually thought I'd already hit it once.
Well, I understand, but what I'm saying is, if you were going to get $100, if you hadn't had these other unexpected charges,
Right, I would be well over it.
by the end of the next monthly period, whatever the heck that is, you might actually have earned the equivalent of $100 a month for 2 months by the time you get paid the first time.
Yeah, I will show you guys the analytics later tonight. I don't want to show it over the live stream tonight. I will live stream the first payout I get. I will live stream that. I'm not going to hide that or keep anything. I try to be as transparent and open as I can be. And maybe you guys will see something I didn't. It's just frustrating, that's all. And then, of course, we had the debacle of DaVinci deciding it didn't want to render out a 1 minute and 4 second trailer that I had created. And I finally just gave up on it. Did not go play golf today. Jake texted me and said it's going to be too cold, 47 degrees and sunshiny. But we could play tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock when it's 40 and overcast. I said, nope, let's move it to Friday. So we were going to play Friday at noon. I was actually out in the public, as Long Dog would say, in the urban jungle at a little after 6 o'clock. I did stop by Jersey Mike's. I was going to get a sub sandwich for dinner. There was a young employee there at the door, and as you walked in, she was telling people, it's an hour wait from here. Anytime you go to a fast food restaurant and it becomes an amusement park, I'm not sticking around. I thought, my gosh, are they... I mean, they were busy, but an hour? Yeah, that was ridiculous. So needless to say, I did not have Jersey Mike's today.
I would expect that on Easter, but not today.
Well, today, Jersey Mike's is donating 100% of their proceeds to a charity or charities. They did not specify which ones. So a lot of people are out to support said charity and charities by getting Jersey Mike's. Yes, Wintermute. It said the girl said an hour wait. Now, I don't know.
I
Maybe
don't think a sub sandwich is an Easter meal anyway.
Probably not, Chris. Probably not.
Oh, what?
Stealth Mode joins us over in chat. One Fish is in chat. Chris Garrett is in chat. And Wintermute is in chat. And Long Dog just joined us. The urban jungle is a dangerous place. Yeah, the roadways, the trails, let's go with the urban jungle theme. The trails on the urban jungle are getting more and more dangerous every day. I don't know if it's just because
You mean downtown? Urban
No,
jungle?
this was in the suburb going to Mrs. K's work today. There was what Mrs. K calls a snake driver, what we generally refer to as someone weaving in and out of traffic between lanes. Filipinos call them snake drivers. And that happens everywhere and all the time. This particular person was doing it very, in my very humble opinion, dangerous at the speeds and the closeness of the cars it was passing at the time. I just, I told Mrs. K, I said, if there's an accident, I didn't see a thing unless we're involved in it. And I lost Zoom somehow. There it is.
We're seeing a lot of that here from people on motorcycles.
Yeah, I've always seen with bikes, and I'm probably guilty at some point in time of doing the exact same thing when I had my bikes. didn't think anything of it back then, but now that I'm a
But
little
whether you
older,
can go between cars, split the lane or not, whether that's legal or not, depends on the state. And I do
right.
not know the state laws.
Right. I split lanes one time, and that was when I was coming out of the Indianapolis 500 in 1983 when traffic was at a dead stop standstill. So there was the only danger was if somebody were to open their doors, we're splitting the lanes. You know, you had to worry about that. I would have never done it moving down a highway or moving down a city street. Now, I have zigged and zagged on my bike in between cars, but I would not split the lane. I always thought that was
We've got
dangerous.
a lot of slowdown in construction here on the 215 where it hits I-15 on the what I call the south side of town.
Right.
And there's a lot of that going on there all the time. Any motorcycle you see, the guy's splitting the lanes. I have not seen a one who wasn't doing it.
That's
I've seen
crazy.
traffic backed up in Atlanta or going in Atlanta a long way, and then there'll be a motorcycle go down an emergency lane. And then one time I saw a motorcycle do that, and a couple miles down the road, cop had him stopped. They call it emergency lane for a reason,
Yeah.
for emergency vehicles.
I read an article recently that a lot of states are going to start enforcing a law that says that if you're parked in the left-hand lane, they're going to pull you over and give you a ticket because the left-hand lane is for passing, not driving.
Yeah, that depends on the state too.
Well, of course, sure. I don't know. I get in the left-hand lane here in Indianapolis and I stay in it because there's 100 other cars in the left-hand lane.
You mean if you're driving in the left lane?
Right. I think it pertains to highways, though. I don't think it pertains to city streets.
Right.
Go ahead, Jeff.
No, it's just on like divided highways, mainly is where the interstates are equivalent.
Yeah.
Well, I stay in the left lane sometimes because I'll go ahead and, while it's clear, I'll go ahead and get in the left lane because I see slower traffic ahead. Like
Right.
Or
Right.
whatever.
Well, so long as you're actually passing somebody, you're not breaking the law in those states. But when you have to slow down to what the right lane is doing, then you're supposed to pull back in those, wherever that thing's in effect. And I don't know what states have it and what states don't.
There's a lot of states. There's a lot of people that stay in the left lane though and drive slow. They're left lane bandits.
I tend to drive if there's 3 lanes, I drive in the middle lane. And then if I have to
I do
pass
that
up,
unless I'm getting off one side or the other soon.
yeah, and I usually if I'm going to get off, I usually try to merge over to the right-hand side lane within a mile of my exit. I don't wait until some of these people I've seen that they're in the middle lane. Oh, here's the exit, and they go from the middle lane to the exit.
Yeah, I know.
I see that all the time here in Indianapolis, and it just drives me up a wall. You're ticketed for impeding traffic flow. Delaware has that law. Jim joins us over in chat, and they enforce it in the southern part of the state. They do enforce it, not so much in the northern part. Yeah, I've just been reading articles on it. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. Of course, I'll probably get 3 or 4 tickets going to California this year, but we will see. Mrs. K is already wanting to start packing it. I'm like, what's today's date? March 27th. And when's our trip starting? April 19th. We got a day or two.
Me and her are essentially the same person because I'd be telling you if I was her, I'd be telling you the same thing. I'd start packing up today too. So I agree.
A week ahead is good enough.
How are y'all
The week of will probably be just sufficient. I mean, she will
Depends
work.
when you do your laundry and all of that too.
Well, yeah. Without looking at the schedule, she works that Wednesday, Thursday, so she'll be She works Sunday, Wednesday, Thursday of that week. So we'll probably be packed Monday or Thursday. Thursday's good for me. I mean, my packing will be simple. It's Mrs. K's packing that will take forever. I mean, anyway.
Just be the patient husband and grin real big.
Yeah.
And I would also check on two things. Number one, make sure there's free breakfast at where we were staying. And number two, check to see what the internet speed is.
Well, you and her do have one thing in common, because that was what she said when we were checking out places to sleep, is whether they had free breakfast or not, and she
And
could
whether
care
it's
less
good-
about the
whether
internet.
Whether it's good breakfast or just like waffles and eggs and stuff, or just like Pop-Tarts and muffins and stuff like that.
Well,
That depends basically on the cost of the room for the night. I mean, if you stay in a Motel 6, I wouldn't be expecting much.
coffee, juice, and maybe a donut, maybe,
Yeah.
if you're lucky.
I mean, we used to stay in some places, something Comfort Inn and Suites, and they had
Yes.
tremendous breakfast. But it was for out in the country places to stay fairly expensive. I mean, we're talking $60-70 a night to get all of that.
Yeah, we've stayed in
Or
a couple
$60
places.
a night's probably cheap these days.
Oh gosh,
Yeah,
yes.
it is.
Yeah. We stayed in a couple when we were moving back this way that they had full out, doggone near full breakfast menu availability. Sausage, bacon, ham, omelets, scrambled eggs. And there was someone
Potatoes,
standing
yeah,
there,
whole nine
they had
yards.
people to cook it. I mean, it was amazing.
That was one of my favorite parts about going on when we went to Kentucky, when we went on vacation to Kentucky several years back. That was one of my favorite parts. I was able to we stayed in 3 different hotels, and I was able to get breakfast just about every morning in whatever hotel we stayed at. We ended up staying at a Comfort Inn in Suites, which was the nicest one. 'Cause it was like a gigantic suite room, and then we stayed at a Holiday Inn Express, and then we stayed at a Best Western, which was probably the worst one of the week.
Best Western was the worst place you stayed?
They're not that great anymore.
Depends on where you go, really, but they're not the best.
This
I
particular
really
one
liked
was
when we went to Niagara Falls. I really liked that place, that bed and breakfast place we stayed at. It was really good. I liked
this
it.
particular one we stayed at was in Nashville.
There's been a lot of consolidation in the motel industry in the last few years. I used to belong to 2 different memberships, if you might say, with different motel
Right,
groups.
right.
And the 2 I had are now consolidated into one because the parent company's consolidated.
All right, princess.
Long
I guess
Dog
I
asked, do we
actually
still
still
have
have
hotels that have restaurants connected to them? The only one that I can think of that ever used to have that was Howard Johnson's.
Yeah.
Howard Johnson's used to have a hotel and a motel combined into one.
Shawnee's. If you ever heard of Shawnee's.
Shoney's?
I've never seen a Shoney's affiliated with a motel.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I haven't either.
We had one that was affiliated with a hotel, Shawnee's Inn.
And Shoney's itself was right there with the inn.
Yeah, and they still got one. I know a town that's got one still. A
Yeah,
motel.
I think all the Shoney's or Shawnee's or however you want to say it, I believe they have all closed here in Indiana.
I haven't checked Shoney's recently. We had one in Oak Ridge, Tennessee when I lived there. And I don't think they do the business that they used to. A lot of them, the buffet quality went to heck on it, you know.
Yeah, that was what I used to enjoy. So there's one in Louisville, Kentucky, one in Elizabethtown, Kentucky, one in Henderson, Kentucky. I'm sensing a theme here.
Type in Shawnee's Motel.
Let me see if I can.
That's interesting. I've never seen one of those. I didn't know they existed.
When I type in that, it comes up and shows a lot of the restaurants again, but no motels.
Yeah.
Let me see if I
In
can.
the old days when we would stay someplace where they didn't have a breakfast at the motel.
I'm going to see
I mean,
what.
if we wanted to stay in the least expensive place we could find, like Motel 6 or Motel 8. Is there a Motel 8?
I think there is now, it sounds vaguely
When we
familiar.
would stay in those, then the
Super
next thing I
8.
did, we
Super
just-
8 and Motel 6.
Yeah, Super 8.
Yeah, Super 8. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I got thrown out of
Okay.
Motel 6 once.
Yeah, and
I went to
was
check
wrong.
in my room and it was dark, so I called the front desk and I said, the light was not on, I want my money back.
I was wrong. Shawnee's did have a motel, but the one in the town I'm thinking about, it's still got the Shawnee's restaurant and the motel. I'm not sure if they're affiliated anymore because the motel is Econo Lodge. But it used to be Shawnee's Inn.
Here you go. I find a Shoney's Inn. Hotels were developed as Shoney's Inn, but sold to Boomerang Hotels and rebranded to Guest House Inn.
Guest houses in G-U-E-S-T or guest is in G-U-E-S-S?
G-U-E-S-T, Guest
Okay.
House. One word.
Yeah, that'd be a scary place to say. You never know what you're going to get when you say a guest house.
I was trying to think. We went to Jackson, Tennessee to try to spend the night one time. I can't remember if we were going home to Oak Ridge or going to Oklahoma. And it was about a third of the way there. And it didn't look like a bad place. And we just signed in, opened the door to the room, and the cockroaches ran out, literally.
That's
And
not funny, but
And I turned around and went back to the office and said, my room's full of cockroaches. I want my money back.
yeah, we had that practically same issue in Florida one time. We were going to Disney World down there and found a hotel and seemed to be, decent and all. And it was just, they didn't necessarily run out, but they didn't exactly run to take cover to be away from us either. So,
See, we used to pick up these motel books for Shawnee's. You get discounts at different motels.
yeah.
And we found one time in Orlando. We were going to Disney World, and it was nasty.
Well, in Tennessee and maybe one or two other states along Interstate 40, when you went to the rest areas and where they actually had a little tourist area inside, not just bathrooms. Oftentimes they would have racks of stuff there, and among the other things on the racks would be coupon books for motels and restaurants and stuff like that you could get coupons out of. I don't think we ever did anything where we found something we thought was really great at one of those.
Yeah, I can't ever recall finding any value or anything in those as well. Mrs. K likes them.
Well, a lot of the
It
Shawnees
appears to
around
be a
here-
bargain.
A lot of the Shawnees
That's
around here, the
true.
motel has changed to another.
So you said
How
Jackson,
about that?
Tennessee. I wonder, is that the song that Johnny Cash was singing about when they got married in Jackson?
I wonder, I've often wondered that. There was I can't remember there was the Casey Jones Hotel there
In Jackson?
in Jackson, Tennessee. The last
I wonder
time
if it's
was
hot there.
What's that?
I wonder if it's hot there.
I don't know, but it was associated with the old story about the railroad guy.
Yeah. Speaking of railroad, I like Sin's background. I'm going to spotlight him briefly. I like the fact that most of us think we're going to move straight ahead, and the reality is pretty much on the right-hand side. That is so true.
Well, unless the one on the left might be accurate if I was going straight to hell.
I've been following a couple train channels lately. Pretty interesting to watch. Guy does his homework. He knows where the train's coming from and where the train's going. Most of the time he has knowledge of what it's carrying.
I think three guys from Ohio who oftentimes go to the same places together. And then I'll watch each of the channels to see what the differences are and what they spotted that day.
Right. That'd be interesting.
Sawtooth, and there's a guy called 1960 Gambit, and I can't remember the other fellow's name. He's fairly new.
Yeah, the one and only train short that I posted, I just got lucky. We were coming back from the VA, and we just happened to be the car, and the train came by, and I thought, why not shoot a quick 30-second video of it?
I've never posted a video, but when I lived in South Carolina, we had a local short line there in Aiken. It used to be Norfolk Southern, and they leased it to a short line called Aiken Railway Company. And they still run a few cars, I don't know, 4 or 5 days a week to various industrial parks and that sort of thing. And I used to post photographs in that, in a Facebook group that followed railroads, but I don't have anything out here. I mean, Union Pacific comes through Vegas, but I'm not going to go down to where the train yards are to take photographs of that here.
Yeah, it
just doesn't entice me at all.
Yeah, it's like me. We have train tracks 3 miles away, and trains go through there all the time. Yeah. And I keep telling myself I need to go up there and try to catch them one day.
Now, it doesn't go all the way anymore. The one that was in Aiken, South Carolina, was actually part of the first railroad in the South, in South Carolina, and went all the way to the coast. I followed it as far as it went towards Charleston, and then it stopped, and the tracks have been ripped out from there on southeast. But there's a lot of history there, which was sort of interesting. And there, the line splits and goes past the old railroad station. I guess actually it's a replica of the original railroad station that the Chamber of Commerce and somebody else subsidized to bring in tourists. And they've got it set up sort of nice. I mean, it looks like it did in the old days when you still had passenger service and all of that. And they've got some sleeper car there and 1 or 2 other cars parked there.
We have the famous Norfolk Southern.
Norfolk Southern?
Yeah.
Yep.
There was a merger of Norfolk and Western and the Southern Railway.
The one that's been having all the train derailments.
I don't think that's something I'd be real happy about. I mean,
I seen a train the other day and it was wobbling.
Yeah.
A lot of these little short lines have tracks where everything wobbles. And people bitch and moan about it all the time. But the reality is, to completely replace a track like that costs you nearly $1 million a mile.
Yeah, it does. It is expensive. It's hard to keep them.
Man. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I'm at 10:29. I hit the button at 59. I want to thank Tony, Greg, Rick. Again, Rick, thank you for the $2 super chat contribution. I appreciate it. One Fish 26 was with us. Chris Garrett was in chat. Jeff Ryman was in chat. Stealth Mo was in chat. Jim was in chat. Wintermute was in chat. Long Dog was in chat.
My greeting was in theme with your theme tonight.
Your greeting was in theme. What was your greeting? Good evening from YouTube City, Lost Wages. Yeah, Yes, yes, yes. Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
Couldn't resist.
Yeah, it's fine. I have no problem with that at
Well, I
all.
just
And I also want to thank Rich, William, Greg, Darren, Sam, Jeff, Sin, Alex, Chris, and Connecting to Audio. I don't know who this guy Connecting to Audio is. Does anybody know who that is? His parents must not have liked him, though, called him Connecting to Audio. Man. Anyway, good night. See you tomorrow. I should make it to Doug's tomorrow on time. No promises, though. We will see. Stopping the stream right about now.